Once upon a time, in the bustling heart of Lagos, there lived a man whose name echoed through the city like a whispered legend. Shah Williams, the enigmatic CEO of Williams Tech Solutions, was a figure shrouded in mystery. Unlike the flamboyant elite who paraded their wealth, Shah preferred the shadows, allowing his influence and fortune to speak for him. His privacy only fueled the fascination surrounding him, especially among the women of Lagos, who dreamed of capturing the heart of the man no one could truly reach. Shah's assistant, Jay, was the bridge between the reclusive billionaire and the outside world. As Shah's trusted confidant, Jay became the target of countless women who hoped to use him as a stepping stone to Shah's heart. Among them was Tenny, a socialite known for her extravagant lifestyle and insatiable appetite for luxury. Tenny had dated wealthy men before, but none compared to the allure of Shah Williams, the untouchable billionaire. Determined to win him over, she set her sights on Jay, charming him, flirting with him, and ultimately making him fall deeply in love with her. All the while, her true goal remained hidden, to uncover the secrets of Shah's heart. One evening, over a candlelit dinner, Tenny finally broached the subject she had been waiting to ask. With a sweet smile and a glass of wine in hand, she leaned in and asked, "Tell me, Jay, what kind of woman does Shah like?" Jay chuckled, sipping his drink. "Ah, Tenny, even I don't know much about my boss. He's a very private man. But one thing I do know is that he doesn't like flashy women." Tenny's heart skipped a beat. "Flashy women," she echoed, her mind racing. Jay nodded. "He always says he wants a simple woman, someone who doesn't care about his wealth." That night, Tenny hatched a plan. If Shah desired simplicity, then simplicity she would become. The next day, she transformed herself entirely. Gone were the designer dresses, the glittering jewelry, and the expensive wigs. In their place, she donned modest outfits, braided her hair, and adopted a humble demeanor. She manipulated Jay into introducing her to Shah, all while ignoring the pain she was causing the man who had genuinely fallen for her. When Jay finally realized the depth of Tenny's deception, his heart shattered. Confronting her one evening, his voice trembled with emotion. "Tenny, did you ever care for me at all? Or was I just a stepping stone for you to get to Shah?" Tenny, cold and indifferent, rolled her eyes. "Jay, don't be dramatic. Did you really think I would end up with a man like you? You're just an assistant. You were useful, but that's it." Jay's world crumbled. The love he had given so freely had been trampled on, leaving him broken and angry. As he walked away that night, something inside him changed. The love he once felt for Tenny was replaced by a simmering rage. Meanwhile, Tenny's twin sister, Piju, watched in dismay. Unlike Tenny, Piju valued honesty, kindness, and hard work. She had always tried to guide her sister toward a better path, but Tenny's greed and ambition had blinded her. When Piju confronted Tenny about her treatment of Jay, Tenny laughed in her face. "You're just jealous because I'm about to become a billionaire's wife while you're stuck in your boring life," Tenny sneered. Piju shook her head in disappointment. "Is that what you think, Tenny? That life favors those who play games? What about love? Do you even love Shah?" Tenny paused, then laughed. "Love? Who needs love when you have money?" Days turned into weeks, and Tenny's plan seemed to be working. Shah was completely smitten by her. She played the role of the perfect woman, humble, loving, and supportive. She attended charity events with him, pretended to love reading, and even spoke of wanting a quiet life away from the glitz and glamour. Shah, blinded by her act, fell deeper in love. But Jay and Piju watched in silence, knowing the truth. They believed Tenny's facade would eventually crumble. And it did, in the most unexpected way. One evening, Tenny returned home to find her housekeeper had left, citing a family emergency. The next morning, a frail-looking elderly woman arrived at her doorstep, introducing herself as Mama Ron, the new maid. Tenny, barely glancing at her, dismissed her with a wave. "Just do your job right and don't get in my way," she snapped. What Tenny didn't know was that Mama Ron was no ordinary maid. She was Madame Ron Williams, Shah's mother. Suspicious of Tenny's intentions, Madame Ron had orchestrated the housekeeper's departure and taken her place in disguise. For days, she observed Tenny's true nature, hidden beneath the mask of simplicity. She saw how Tenny treated her with disdain, how she cursed the poor on TV after smiling sweetly at charity events, and how she secretly indulged in luxury behind Shah's back. The final straw came one afternoon when Tenny, rushing for an appointment, slipped on the wet floor Madame Ron had just mopped. Enraged, Tenny screamed at the elderly woman, calling her stupid and useless. In a fit of anger, she slapped Madame Ron and shoved her face into the bucket of dirty mop water. "You should be grateful I don't fire you, you useless cleaner." Tenny spat before storming off. Madame Ron, humiliated but resolute, wiped her face and vowed to protect her son from a woman like Tenny. The next evening, Shah invited Tenny to a private dinner at his family's estate. Tenny, thrilled, believed he was about to make their relationship official. But as she walked into the luxurious living room, her excitement turned to dread. Standing beside Shah was Mama Ron, the maid she had so cruelly mistreated. The truth was unveiled, and Tenny's world came crashing down. Shah, heartbroken and betrayed, ended their relationship. Jay, though still healing, found solace in Piju's kindness and support. As for Tenny, she was left to face the consequences of her deceit, a stark reminder that true wealth lies not in money, but in the love and respect we earn from others. Once upon a time, in the vibrant heart of Lagos, a tale of love, deception, and redemption unfolded, leaving an indelible mark on all who witnessed it. At the center of this story was Tenny, a socialite whose ambition and greed led her down a path of ruin, and Jay, the man she underestimated, whose quiet strength and integrity ultimately triumphed. The evening began with Tenny stepping into the opulent Williams estate, her heart fluttering with anticipation. She believed Shah, the man she had been meticulously scheming to marry, was about to make their relationship official. But as she entered the grand living room, her confidence shattered. Standing beside Shah was not the meek maid she had mistreated, but a woman radiating authority and poise. Tenny's breath caught in her throat as Shah calmly introduced her. "Tenny, meet my mother." The room seemed to spin as Tenny's mind raced. "Your mother," she stammered, her voice trembling. She turned to Madame Ron, the woman she had berated, humiliated, and treated as nothing more than a servant. Madame Ron's piercing gaze bore into her, stripping away the layers of deceit Tenny had so carefully constructed. "No, Tenny," Madame Ron said, her voice steady and cold. "I was never your maid. But you showed me exactly who you are, how you treat those you consider beneath you. I lived in your house. I saw your cruelty, your lies, your fake humility. You are not the woman my son deserves." Tenny's world crumbled. She turned to Shah, her eyes pleading, tears welling up. "Shah, please, you have to believe me. I love you. This is all a misunderstanding." Shah raised his hand, silencing her. "I trusted you," he said, his voice heavy with disappointment. "I thought I had finally found someone who loved me for who I am, not for my wealth. But it was all an act." Before Tenny could muster a defense, the sound of slow, deliberate clapping filled the room. She turned to see Jay, Shah's assistant, or so she had thought, walking in, a confident smirk playing on his lips. Her heart pounded as confusion and dread washed over her. Why was Jay clapping? Why did he look so triumphant? Jay stepped forward, his eyes gleaming with an authority Tenny had never seen before. "Tenny," he began, his voice calm but laced with mockery, "you truly are something else. You thought you were playing us, didn't you? How clever of you." He laughed, a deep, resonant sound that sent shivers down her spine. Tenny's throat went dry. "What are you talking about?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. Jay's expression hardened. "I'm not just Jay," he declared. "I am Shah J. Williams, the real CEO of Williams Tech Solutions. The man you've been scheming to marry? That's my cousin, Shahad Williams. We share the same first name, and I let people believe he was the boss while I stayed in the shadows as his assistant." Tenny's legs buckled beneath her. Sweat dripped down her face as the weight of her mistake crashed down on her. She had ignored Jay, insulted him, broken his heart, all while chasing after the wrong man. She had thrown away the real billionaire, blinded by her own greed and ambition. Desperation clawed at her as she turned to her twin sister, Piju, who stood silently, her expression a mix of disappointment and pity. "Pidgey, please," Tenny begged, her voice cracking. "Help me. Talk to Jay. I'm so sorry for what I did. I was wrong. I see that now." Pidgey shook her head, her voice firm but gentle. "Tenny, you're not sorry for what you did. You're only sorry because you got caught." Tenny's heart raced as she turned back to Jay, tears streaming down her face. "Jay, please," she sobbed, dropping to her knees. "Give me a second chance. I was blind before, but now I see. You're the only man I want. I swear I love you." Jay looked down at her, his gaze unyielding. "Love?" he scoffed. "You don't love me. You love the idea of wealth, of power. You love what you thought you were securing. If you had truly loved me, you would have chosen me when you thought I was just an assistant." With a wave of his hand, Jay summoned 2 security guards. "Escort her out," he commanded. "I don't want to ever see her in this house again." Tenny's screams echoed through the estate as the guards dragged her away, her designer dress crumpled, her pride shattered. The last thing she heard was Jay's cold, final words, "You did this to yourself." The next morning, Tenny's downfall was the talk of the town. News outlets and social media buzzed with the scandal. Socialite Tenny Ai humiliated and disowned by billionaire family after playing the wrong game. Her reputation was in tatters, her so-called friends abandoning her. She had lost everything, her status, her wealth, and any chance at redemption. Meanwhile, at the Williams estate, a new chapter was beginning. Jay and Pidgey sat together, the soft evening light casting a warm glow over them. They spoke of the past month, of the lessons learned and the bonds forged. Jay turned to Pidgey, his gaze softer than she had ever seen it. "You were right about everything," he admitted. "I should have seen through Tenny sooner." Pidgey smiled gently. "Sometimes, we have to go through the storm to appreciate the calm." Jay sighed, his voice tinged with regret. "I wasted so much time chasing after someone who never cared, while the one person who saw me for who I truly am was right here in front of me." Pidgey's breath caught as their eyes met. "What are you saying, Jay?" she asked hesitantly. Jay took a deep breath, his hand reaching for hers. "I'm saying that maybe, just maybe, my heart was always meant for you." Pidgey's eyes widened, but before she could respond, Jay continued. "I don't want to make the same mistake twice. Would you give me a chance?" A slow, beautiful smile spread across Pidgey's face. "I'd love to," she whispered. And so, under the soft evening light, a new chapter began, one built on honesty, respect, and true love. Jay and Pidgey's story was a testament to the power of integrity and the importance of recognizing true love when it stands before you. Tenny's downfall served as a stark reminder that deception and greed can never build a lasting foundation for love. In the end, it is sincerity, kindness, and genuine connection that triumph.